Good morning and welcome to another episode of Coffee Chats with Toby. Today, what we're going to go through is actually how to plan for success. So a lot of times I sit in my meetings with my team and have conversations with a lot of other business owners, and what I tend to find is actually bewilders me and completely throws me off balance, because for me, what comes naturally, I'm starting to kind of pick up that isn't just a natural tendency or a skill set or a process that everyone kind of follows. So it actually really excites me to be able to sit down and take you through this process, because to me, it kind of unlocks an incredible amount of potential, and oftentimes will enable you to help solve problems with greater insight as to where potentially they may be happening. Now, obviously, this conversation sounds very businessy and incredibly corporate almost, if you will. But the wonderful thing is the parameters and the process and the concept can actually be applied to anything and everything in life. And really, kind of what it stems down to is that old-fashioned saying, now I've got to remember it, but basically, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. So what I'm talking about here is actually planning and going back to one of the 7 acts of highly effective people, to start with the end in mind. So have a goal, have it set, know what it is, have it tangible, measurable, and understand where it is you're going. Then first things first, so start where you are now, but to build out those step-by-step procedures. Now, this can get a little bit complicated, and oftentimes is probably the reason why people kind of steer away from it, because it seems like such a daunting, long-winded process, essentially, to get to the end product or to get a move on. But the honest truth is that it doesn't need to be. And it can actually be really enjoyable because it will tap into your creative side. So what I like to do, I actually like to draw out these big whiteboard flow diagrams. That not only helps me to get my ideas down on paper, but it actually helps me to realize gaps in my plan by being able to visually see everything out in front of me. So the team here with me at Atkins Health often joke around my big ass whiteboard that we have at head office. And literally it basically spans the width of the room, and what I do is I come to it and I basically draw out my entire plan. So, you know, the business structure or the marketing plan or the sales funnel, or it could even be the way that we run a meeting is one that I've just done recently. But what it does is it gives you an incredible amount of clarity, both on what's expected of each and every person who's involved in the discussion or in the business or in the meeting, or even if it's just you, it gives you an incredible amount of clarity as to what it is that you need to do next. Help to develop a task list so that you can manage your task more efficiently and effectively. So, as we obviously know from previous coffee chats, one of the most important things for complete and entire fulfillment given to us by the legendary Tony Robbins is to have progressive growth occurring in our life. Now, if we don't plan for that, or we don't have any plan to grow, how is it that we can essentially get there? And oftentimes we come across a problem, and I'll come up with an example to kind of give you some tangible reasonings or examples on how to do this. But and we don't know where the problem came from. We don't know what the result of that problem was. We can't even kind of begin to try and create a solution, because ultimately we don't know anything. It's like going to a football match with opposition that you've never known before. You don't know any of their details, any of their strengths and weaknesses, or ultimately have no game plan on how to kind of beat them. Furthermore, it's probably even worse than that, going to a football match having not known any one of your teammates. So you don't know any one of your teammates' strengths, weaknesses, or how it is or what it is that they do to help you achieve the ultimate goal of the team. It's just impossible. You can't do it. So a really quick example, it may be a meeting structure. So, and you may be going through your targets for the month. Now, it's really important that your targets for the month match your targets for the year, which match your ultimate vision of the business. So basically you've got the vision, which is where you're going. You've got the start, which is essentially where you are now. You've got a plan on how to hit that vision, or what that vision looks like on a yearly budget or forecast. And then you know ultimately that by the end of the year, this is what you have to achieve. You know there's 12 months in a year. So then you go, right, well, what do I need to do in this 12-month period to achieve that? So that kind of sets the parameters of that monthly meeting. Then you can break down that meeting and go, right, well, what are the most important things for me to achieve those goals? What is that goal, and how do I break that goal down? I'm going to do a flip here and take it to more of a personal perspective. We may be looking at weight loss. So we have the ultimate goal of 20 kilo weight loss. We know that we want to achieve 5 kilogram weight loss in this month. Now we have to deconstruct weight loss. So what does weight loss look like? And this is step one, right? This is my flow diagram. So at the top, I have 20 kilo weight loss. The next step would be set a monthly goal. The next step would be break down what that monthly goal looks like. So the next step could essentially, in my flow diagram, could be understand my current trend and my current behaviors and habits. So the next step would then be broken down into 2 areas, input and output for weight loss, right? Then I would break down my weight loss from an output perspective. What's my current situation in terms of output? What's my current situation in regards to input? And what is that resulting in? What kind of current trend am I at right now? Is my weight increasing? Is it decreasing? Is it staying the same? Now that kind of tells me what I need to do and what targets then I need to set for this month. I then go, right, well, I'm staying steady. I want to weight gain. So I want to increase my weight. So I need to increase my output in resistance training and increase my input to give me the fuels and building blocks in protein side of things to actually be able to put that weight gain on. For weight loss, it may be that I'm not willing to compromise in terms of my input, so I really need to increase my output. So then I look at output and I'll go, how much am I exercising? And way more importantly, how much am I moving? So what's my average daily step count? So what does it look like now? What does it need to look like by the end of the month? And then what incremental steps can I put into place and know that I'm achieving these goals on a week-by-week basis, day-by-day basis, as granular as I need to ensure that I'm on the right steps and not getting to the end of the month going, shit, I didn't achieve it. So this is all about planning, but ultimately it's really interesting to me that a lot of people plan for some things but not others. So for us to actually achieve anything, we know that we need to plan, otherwise we're planning to fail. So ultimately, the same concept applies in all aspects of life, really. Yeah. So I get quite passionate about this stuff, but I hope that's helped you in some degrees. Do a flow diagram, put it up on a big whiteboard, do it on a piece of paper, digitally, however you want to do it. But if you have it in front of you, you oftentimes can look at that and kind of break it down, put numbers to it. Then you've got your forecast, what you need to achieve, and then you can put your actuals there. So for weight loss, I could put, like, my goal might have been 5,000 steps. I may have achieved 4,000. And then by the end of the month, I come back and go, well, there's the reason why. That week, I didn't lose any weight because I ate the same, but I did 1,000 less steps on average per week. I know what my problem is. I need to ensure that I get my 5,000 because every week I did 5,000, I achieved my weight loss target for that week. So to see how without that input, without those data metrics, or at least without that planning, I'm going to get to the end of the month and go, woe it is me. My genetics are out and I didn't make it hit. Now that's a touchy subject and I obviously didn't mean to have a crack at anybody, but the honest truth is the unknown is the most frustrating part of any story or any journey. If you don't know something, you don't know why you're not achieving the goals, you don't know what goals you have, or you don't have a plan, well, then you can't kind of fix the situation or improve in any way, shape or form. Anyways, guys, thanks very much for joining me this morning. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Until next time, my friends, take care of yourselves and those around you, and I will catch up with you guys again next week. Have a good one, and peace out.